Good evening, brothers and sisters. The topic of the world today is all about war, and Christopher did an article today that really stirred me, and it was about war and the reasons and why and how and what Yahushua's dealings are involved in this war. And I was just so shocked because it's the very different and very new understanding of why Yahushua brings war and what he's doing in the world and what's happening. In the Hebrew it talked about the war. War is a besiege, to befall, something come against, to stricken, rage or moan, something with trouble, weapons, strong, a battle, to devour, so etc. There were many meanings in the Hebrew. I wanted to find out from Christopher his reasonings behind the article because it just shocked me so much and gave so much understanding as to what's happening in the world and what's going on, who's in control, and what's the world doing about it. So I'd just like to ask Christopher today, who is in control of the world?
Yahushua.
So scripture says that he's in control of the world?
Well, it's in that article
Yeah.
that he is.
Yeah. So what authority do we have to come under if he's in control?
Well, we have to come up locally, wherever you are, you come under the authorities and the government.
Yeah.
Because it says that Yahushua has set them all up.
Yeah, there were many responses to this, and a lot of people, some people were saying, what if it's a corrupt government and the laws are corrupt, and how can we follow that and follow the Torah as well? What's the answer to that?
Well, the Torah, the New Testament, the words of Yahushua, gives that instruction to us, wherever we are locally, to come under those authorities and obey their rules and laws. In doing that, you're doing what Scripture says. You're doing the Torah.
So if everybody obeys that law, the law of the land, some people were saying, well, he doesn't, but the Scriptures do say that when he was on earth, he gave Caesar what was due Caesar, and he did apply the law of the land. He did follow the laws of the land.
Well, it says he set them up.
He set them up.
He sets up all authorities in our lives. Trouble is our society rebels against everything. Globally, people are rebelling everywhere against everything, which is not what the words of Yahuwah are, or Yahushua, what we're supposed to behave like in society.
Yes.
We don't make any threats. We're not a threat to what the world is doing. So in that consequence, that's how we're obedient to Torah.
Well, that sounds very reasonable and very simple if people follow the laws of the land.
Well, we're dealing with the world, and there's many people that have come out of the world into the Nazarene Messianic movements, and they're trying to build their own little kingdoms, and they're all rebellious.
Yeah.
And they're taking on the Hebrew mindset, which again just leads you back to deadness. What was I saying? Yeah, well, they're doing that, and
Following the Hebrew.
yeah, I've lost the spot. Where are we
It's all
up
right.
to?
That many people have gone into the Hebrew and they're against the laws of the land.
They're rebellious. That's
They're
what I want to
rebellious,
say. They're
yeah.
rebelling against the laws of the land.
Society and...
If you're in Yahushua, you can see what he's saying, not to do that.
Yes.
But as I said, there's these rebellious people that have come into the movement, and they have no intention. They want to build their own little kingdom, so they don't care. They don't want to follow that, and they're leading people in the wrong ways, just for this money all the time.
So looking at the world view, is in Russia today, is Putin's authority given by Yahusha?
Well, the scripture says in the last days there will be wars and rumours of wars, and not to be afraid, not to worry. What did you ask me again?
Is
Sorry, I forgot.
Putin's authority has been given
Oh, yes.
by Yahusha?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because he says that all authority is given by him because he controls the world. You
Yeah.
can see the prophecies right before our eyes coming
Yeah.
true.
And why is Ukraine being invaded? Because the whole of Europe and the whole of the Western world is against Russia.
Well, Ukraine is like a small Sodom and Gomorrah. They have everything going on there, and they have the mixture of belief. That's Torah
Yeah.
and Christianity. It's a mixture, and it's idolatry, and it's not just straight Torah.
Yeah.
So because they're doing that and they're allowing themselves all the behaviours they want,
Yes.
well, they're going to get punished. And this is the punishment, this is Yahusha's punishment coming on Europe.
So what is Yahusha's plan, and why is the world so against him? What is his plan?
Well, as you know, you have to die to yourself if you're going to follow Yahusha's way. And they don't want to die to themselves, and there's no one preaching it. And Yahusha said there are people that are created for the day of destruction.
Yes.
So we have to be wise, cunning and gentle as we go through our daily processes, knowing that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So with this, it just shocked me to know that even though people are warring against each other, that Yahusha is in control. That was the whole point, that I was shocked that Yahusha sets leaders and sets authorities. He sets them up.
Yeah.
And that was revealed to me today, because I thought, oh, surely that's Satan. He's being driven by Satan, and he's been, he's controlled by Satan. But Yahusha has established his authority, given him the authority, given all world leaders their authority.
Yeah.
Even the corrupt ones.
Yeah. Well, Adam failed and lost the reign over this earth.
Yeah.
And Yahusha was the second Adam. He didn't fail. The devil threw everything he could at him, and he lost. And the last power he had was power over death. So Yahusha took the keys of death up with him when he went to Shemayim. He has them, which means he rules this earth. And a lot of believers don't know that he is in control. He's ruling all the catastrophes. Everything that he said would happen is happening in our nations now, today, right before our eyes. Putin's just one of the wars.
Yes. Yes.
But the authority comes from Yahusha. He's driving it all, because men are in sin. Men will not worship Yahusha. They want to worship what they want. They want to have their mixture, and they want to do all the things that they're doing. They don't want to stop.
Wow. So most people don't realise that Yahusha is bringing judgment on the earth because men have rejected him and his name.
They're asleep. They can't see.
And you talk to people all the time, and they can't understand how a creator could allow this to happen, the suffering that's going on, and he wouldn't be that cruel, and he wouldn't be that to destroy children and families and all that. So what's your answer to that?
Well, if there are families that are not following the way, they're going to teach their children the wrong ways. So they're going to grow up and become like the parents, wanting their own way, always pushing, going against everything, determined to have their own way. This whole world is full of people determined to have their own way, their own rights, and ignoring the words of Torah. So, of course, they'll be punished. So what use is a nation of having children growing up the wrong way? And you know as a business owner today how hard it is to get young people to do apprenticeships with correct attitudes and response. They're not very well mannered.
No.
They're the opposite.
Rebellious.
And
always.
cause trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the signs that Matthew 24 talks about are really in the world now. It's really happening. Can
you see it?
I can see, definitely.
It's there.
And people are just shocked and amazed, and they keep saying, "Oh, we can rebuild, we can get it back, and it'll be better."
It's not going to be
better in the end.
Because the scripture said, the prophecy from the words of Yahusha, it's going to get worse.
Well, you talk about in your article that Yahusha gave his warning 2,000 years ago, and the world has had this warning for 2,000 years. They've had his name, they've had his instruction for over 2,000 years, and still insist on being rebellious.
Going against the word to have their own way. That's the wicked spirits in high places, and they're controlling people's minds and hearts. Only if you give your heart to Yahusha can you be delivered from the power of the devil and his demons. That's the only way. There's no other way. Simple, easy.
That's so important, isn't it? And it's so serious. I mean, that battle is so serious to fight off the evil. So many people go to sleep, they become unconscious and just rest and think that everything will be all right, because even if they've been immersed and they think that, oh, I'm okay, I've done some good works, I've got his name, everything will be all right, I'm floating on Yahusha's love, but the world...
That's their mind.
That's a mindset.
That's a mixture. Because their way is mixed with the Torah.
Yeah.
And they think that's right. But you have to actually die to yourself. To have the power of Yahusha come through you, you have to pass the test of Hebrews 12, where you're going to get disciplined, rebuked, flogged and chastised by Yahusha himself. He does that work, and he chooses the ones. Because it says if you're not going to receive this test, well then you're not his son. So you have to know who you are. You become royalty when you pass the test. You go in the narrow gate and you just trust and believe in his words. Protect them. Don't go any other way from those words. And there aren't people doing that today, but we're hoping there's going to be more coming in.
So brothers and sisters, if you haven't been immersed in Yahusha's name and received his spirit, it's very important that you understand what that means to you, and how important it is to be in his with his spirit, because there's many different spirit in religions. You know, there's many different spirits that are floating around, and we can't understand his word if we haven't got his spirit. We can't receive from Yahusha. We can't hear him.
Actually says there are wicked spirits in high places controlling all this, and we are fighting them. That's why we get the armor. But you've got to pass the test before you can get your armor and your crown. You've got to pass the test. You've got to run that race where Yahusha actually trusts us. then power's going to come through. But they're not preaching it.
No.
Those that are leading the movements are not preaching this. They don't open the door for everyone to go in and receive.
Yeah.
We don't have to have fear. We don't have to be nervous and freaked out.
Yeah.
We can rejoice and be happy knowing that he's coming soon.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Yeah.
It's all about love.
Yes.
And it's, you know, we sacrifice ourselves for his word.
Yes.
We won't do what he says not to do.
Yes.
So it's pretty easy, sneaky and clever that we should obey the authorities that are there.
Yeah.
So we can be in our local communities and give the word out. But there aren't many, and that's what the scripture says. Many are called, but few are chosen. You've got to prove yourself to be chosen. And there aren't a lot that are going to make it in this generation, because this is the end.
This is it. The
You
last.
either are or you aren't for Yahusha. It's just that simple.
So,
How many people have you met or do you see that come up to you and tell you about Yahusha?
nobody.
Well, it shows you
Yeah.
they're all asleep.
Yes. That's a very sad state.
Well, to me, it's not. I'm happy because I know he's in authority. He's doing all these catastrophes on earth. He's doing it to wake those up that he's chosen. He's doing it. We're in the birth pains at the moment,
Yes.
the beginning of it.
Yes. And the famines and the diseases and
Everything.
floods and
He's got the power. He owns the world. It's his reign. He's doing with it what he wants. He's going to destroy it all, but he's going to remake it.
yes.
And we're going to have new bodies
Yeah.
like he did.
Yeah.
Flying and all sorts of things. We don't know what it's going to be like in the afterlife. Oh, the new reign, the new kingdom he's going to have. It's just so exciting. Our imaginations can't imagine it, but look what he's done in this world. Just the creation alone is fantastic. So, you know, what are we missing out? Do you want to go out there and be that?
No.
What's going on outside?
No, it's dangerous.
No, it's horrible. It's death. It's
Yeah.
dead, and that's what Satan brings, death.
Yes.
And it's a choice. Words give life or words give death. So we can be the givers of life or the givers of death. All depends on our behaviour. That's why we have the behaviour revolution.
That's something you came up with, and it's just amazing. It is all about our behaviour.
Yep. Every scripture talks about behaviour. How to do this, why to do this, why to do that, how to do that. He's given us instruction. It makes it easy for us. But again, if you don't have his set apart spirit in you, you can't see.
No.
You can't even understand the abstractness of
That's
the
it.
spirit.
Yeah.
I try talking to people and explain, all they do is twist it around and abuse you.
Yes.
So you know straight away, that's the devil.
That is. Yeah.
They're demons. That's not love. You know, and they don't want that. They want position and knowledge. And it's so insane to have a conversation with those people. I used to do that years ago, trying to convince people. They didn't want to see the abstract. They didn't want the truth. Huh?
Yeah. And it comes from wanting Yahusha that much that you have that passion that you put off everything
Yeah.
to do his will, to do his word.
Well, it says if anyone loves mother, father, sister, brother, husband, wife more than they do me, they're not worthy of me. So that's a clanger,
Yes.
because we love our families,
Yes.
but when you see how they feel about Yahusha, or you tell them about him, you can understand straight away, if I don't love him, they'll send me mad.
Yes.
And that's what they do. Try to make you mad like they are. Because they aren't willing to fight over overcome their sin. There's only one deliverer, and that's Yahusha. And if we don't accept his name, there's no deliverance.
That is the deliverance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dying to yourself,
Yeah.
having to give up.
Well, why do you have to die to yourself? Because you've filled yourself with yourself. You've filled yourself with knowledge from the world. You're always fighting and competing with people for this knowledge, right? And the winner takes all. But there's too much knowledge in the world to know it all.
Yeah.
But there's not too much knowledge in the scripture to understand it through the Spirit. If you haven't got the Spirit, there's no way you can see. It's just religion.
Yeah.
And there's no deliverance. When deliverance comes, you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel alive. You actually love people that you couldn't stand.
Yeah.
That's the power coming through, and you go, what? This isn't me. This isn't my love. I can feel the love of Yahusha. I can feel that this, what I'm feeling for others, isn't me, isn't mine. It's his Spirit, and he's showing me how he loves. So I've learnt to love through that and be interested in people and understand them and listen to them, you know?
That's amazing.
He just loves everybody so much, but they turn away because they have to give back the same. And people are too up themselves to want to give back. They want to be on top. It's the wrong way. The whole thing's upside down. So it's easier to see who is and who isn't.
Yeah. Well, that explains the deliverance very well.
Yeah.
His deliverance is overwhelming,
And he's judging this world now because of its behaviour. People take on the 3 rules. They can beat the devil and his demons. Every single time they'll have victory over them and be living in a safe little ball.
Fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful, darling. So the reason for the judgment is the rejection of his laws and his name.
Yep.
And Yahushua's in his word says, vengeance is mine, I shall repay. So he's doing it all, and he will have the vengeance. His judgment is on the world already. He is judging the world now.
Yes. So when people are used by demons, unclean spirits, to throw something at you, you let them have it. That's rule number 2. Let them have it. Don't let it into you. You know, just understand where they're coming from, and don't want to have vengeance. Get them back. And so many people want to get each other back, and they work plans so they can get each other, and that's demon control. So you let them have it, and then what?
If you let them have it, it goes back on them.
He's the one
He will give.
that takes
Fight your
vengeance.
battles.
He will fight your battles for you. You win every time. So you just got to trust and believe in that scripture.
Yeah.
It's written down there.
Yeah.
It's true. You don't take advantage of it and use it.
Yeah.
Well, you're never going to know it, are you?
No.
What about all the people we've seen come at us?
Oh.
And now we know.
Yes.
We know what's happened to them.
Yes.
He reveals it.
Yes. That's wonderful. Oh, I'm lost for words. I know that everything we need to know and everything we need for our life is in His Word.
Yep.
His Word is alive, and it's for us to work our way through this world.
That's it.
So, brothers and sisters, this is His Word coming to you today, encouraging you and helping to, I hope this is a help to see more and more what's going on in the world, what's happening and why, and what Yahushua is doing. And it's all in His plan. It's not an accident, and it's not Satan. It's not Satan controlling everyone and everything, because Yahushua has this plan where He's going to bring a new world, a new heaven, a new earth, and we want to be with him.
Well, the next thing we know is that China's trying to get Thailand, isn't it? Taiwan.
Yeah.
You know, China's going to make their move when Russia finishes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Gog and Magog coming from the east.
Could be, yeah. Sounds very true. Thank you, brother, for your incredible insight. Thank
Brother
you.
husband.
Thank you for your insight and your words today. It was really encouraging, and it really opens up and gives the answers to why, you know, the world is in such turmoil and who's behind it all.
Yeah, well, people don't realise Yahusha has that power.
Yeah.
And they're not understanding, accepting or realising that it's him shaking the world.
Yeah. Well, he says everything that is going to be shaken, everything that can be shaken will be. Yeah. So we just look forward to what's going to happen next and be excited, brothers and sisters. We don't have to be in fear. So thank you for listening today. Bye-bye.